Hey, everybody seems to be at some time in their life in pursuit of living happy, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to want is to be happy? And you know what? Can we always be happy? Of course not. But we can have a mindset of being happy so that we are mindful about how we think about our lives and how we project our lives and how our lives are manifested by what we think. And so today we're going to talk about not just being happy, but we're going to talk about the four competencies of what we call emotional intelligence. You've been hearing about emotional intelligence. Of course, emotional intelligence has been around since the beginning of human time. And that's been a long time, right? So here's the deal. Emotional intelligence, kind of like you hear about intelligent, IQ, well, there's EQ, and basically it is the key factor in what can help us be successful throughout our life. The good news, they say with IQ, you cannot increase your IQ, which I don't believe, but EQ, absolutely. How you get along with people by your self-awareness, by your social awareness, and by simply just being able to navigate through life with those other people, even those people that you may call aliens. Yeah, that's right. You know who I'm talking about. How many of you have literally been in touch with one of those human aliens? You know, those people that are nothing like you. You've worked with them, you've lived with them, you've even given birth to them. People who are nothing like you. And it's like, really? Well, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence and how no matter if you're with an alien or not, you still have the responsibility so that you can be, in fact, living a happy life. And it all has to do with you, and it starts with you. All right, so I am going to be using slides. So you have the visual, and we are going to be looking at some of those factors that can bring on happiness and just being aware of what being healthy and happy is. So we're calling this our healthy, happy, actually half hour. So healthy, happy hour, understanding your emotions. And in order to be healthy and happy, you really got to get into what makes you tick. Do you even know who you are? Think about who you are throughout your life. You're wondering, who am I? I thought I knew who I was. What am I good at? What am I not good at? Where do I want to go? Where have I been? Oh my gosh, the mistakes I've made. Typically we tend to be harder on ourselves. We don't need anybody else doing that because we do an awful good job of that ourselves, right? Well, I want to start off by introducing myself. I am a professional people watcher. My name is Dawn Schween. And in the academic world, we call that an anthropologist. Yeah, somebody who just studies human behavior and studies it more in group dynamics. I'm the one that they'll call in to take a look at an organizational culture, take a look at a team, what are the stages that that team is going through. And really, it's all about really understanding people and even those aliens. Yeah, matter of fact, the better and that you can understand an alien, it's the better you're going to get along because you're going to have them in your life. And so I'm very interested and intrigued by personalities and how people interact with each other. And that's why I love talking about emotional intelligence. I started off my career a million years ago, almost as old as that dig, but I was an archaeologist. I like to call myself at that time Indiana Jane, working in the Negev desert, not too far from the Egyptian border. And that was long ago. I was working with an archaeologist called Yohanan Aharoni, who still considered one of the foremost biblical archaeologists in our days. And it was such a pleasure and a privilege, really, to work with him. So that was the Tel Beersheba. Yep, in the Negev desert. So from there, I decided that at the age of almost 40, I was going to go back to school again. And where did I go? Well, I took my kiddos and we went south to Mexico, where I was studying the Pai Pai indigenous people and the medicinal herbs and healing methodologies that they were using. They were still living in a very ancient way, living off the land, and they were very famous for the pottery that they produced as well. as the remedies that they were using in the midst of modern medicine. They were still sticking with the nature and God's medicine, the plants and the benefits of those plants. So I was very interested in that. And that was many years ago. And then moving forward from Mexico, I came back to the States and became a professional trainer in cultural diversity and in the topics that you see right here. Currently, I do work as one of my clients for Skill Path seminars, doing conferences for women, leadership, and all those topics that we all just need a little refresher on. But what we're going to talk about this afternoon is emotional intelligence and how that can and does affect our happiness. So back to you. Who do you think you are? Who do you know who you are? I always want to ask my participants, just give me 3 to 5 words that come to mind when you think of you. Are you a connector? Are you a relationship person? Are you an organizer? Are you analytical? Are you innovative? Are you creative? Are you talkative? Are you quiet? Are you a thinker? Are you anything, fill in the blank? And sometimes it's really hard for you to answer that. So in being mindful and being self-aware, you really want to start with coming up with 3 to 5 of those strengths that you know and those truths that you know to be true about you. Here's where I highly recommend knowing and doing personality assessments. Check out humanmetrics.com again, humanmetrics.com, spelled metrics with a C. Also check out 16personalities.com. These are both free personality profilers that really will help you to get to know you again, so you don't struggle with who are you. And also Strength Finder, great one to be able to identify your strengths and focus on what you're really good at. And that will also bring you happiness when you are working in the natural field of what you are good at. Is so much better than trying to struggle and fight with areas that you just don't have interest in or you're not good at. So who do you think you are? Check out some of these words. To be unstoppable and just to keep on plowing through life, and sometimes it is plowing through. Look what we've just gone through over the past 2 years. Take a look at these words. This may help you trigger some of those key words that you would put as your strengths. Are you an adventurer, for instance? Are you motivational? Perhaps you're traditional. Maybe you are the daredevil in your group or in your family. Are you curious? Are you a connector? Are you adaptable? And you will know, right? If you were able to get through the past couple years without too much emotional damage. Are you a catalyst? Are you a thinker? And so forth. There are some of the words that I would ask you take a look at. What are the 3 that really stand out for you? All right. So let's get to what the definition of emotional intelligence is. So what is this thing called being intelligent emotionally? Well, there it is. Emotional intelligence is the ability for you to identify your emotions and, frankly, those of others, to self-motivate yourself and know how to monitor your emotions and those of people around you. Wow, that's only one sentence, but there's a lot of information in that one sentence. So let's take a look at that. First of all, there are 3 blank. What do you think that is? 3 blank? 3 blank in all emotions. Look to the slide to the right. You see these different ingredients. Whenever you're putting a recipe together, you've got ingredients, right? Well, there are 3 ingredients. That's right, 3 ingredients of all emotions. And here they are. First component is the physical. How do I feel in my body when I feel this emotion? Do I feel sweaty? Do I feel like I'm out of breath? Is my heart pounding? Do I have a headache? How do I feel in my body? There is definitely a physical component to your emotions, and you know that. When you get upset, how you feel angry. or you feel glad, or you feel happy, are you feeling euphoric, are you feeling sad, are you feeling down, are you feeling like you have a dark cloud over you? Do you feel like you have the sunny skies of Arizona over you? So there is a physical component, upset stomach, headache, you know what I'm talking about, right? Ask yourself, how do you know when you are in stress? Then there is the thinking cognitive component. This is what you're telling yourself. You know, we do beat ourselves up, right? Are you telling yourself a bunch of lies? Are you telling yourselves exaggerations? Oh, I'm never going to get this job. I'm never going to get out of life what I want. Are you telling yourself things like, I'm never going to lose weight? Well, guess what? If you keep telling yourself that, you will definitely be indoctrinating and programming yourself to do just that, to believe in what you are telling yourself. And we want to turn that around. So, yeah, do we have bad days? Do we tell ourselves stuff that isn't positive? Of course we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be human. But in order for you to really get that happiness and to understand your emotions, be very mindful. You've heard the word mindful a lot. Be very mindful of what you say to yourself every day from the moment you get up and look in that mirror. Yeah, I know. As I've gotten older, I know those days I get up in the morning and I look in that mirror and I say, who's that? Yeah, that's normal. Once I get that red lipstick on and put some makeup on, it's looking a little better. But I still have to be mindful of what I'm telling myself and what really matters. And then finally, the third ingredient of all the emotions are the behavioral component. What are you actually doing? How are your emotions affecting your behavior with others, with yourself, just in general? What does your behavior look like? And how is what you're telling yourself being manifested in the behavior that you have day to day? Yeah. So, what is an emotion? Really, truly, what is the definition? You can see up here, I have a natural instinctive state of mind deriving from one situation and mood and your relationships with others. Yeah, you know what? I don't think you think, oh, I'm going to feel this way. Your emotions happen. They happen, and they happen because of an event or a trigger or something that reminds you. And it can be something from the past, it could be from yesterday, it could be from 20 years ago, but it's a reminder because here's the truth. Your body is completely full of emotions, not just your mind, but every single molecule in your body has emotion. And that I take from the work of Dr. Candace Pert. Check her out, P-E-R-T, one of the first neuropharmacologists. She actually was on the team in the 80s as a grad student at Johns Hopkins. She was on the team that discovered endorphins, those feel good chemicals that our body creates and that now has become a mega billion, trillion, zillion dollar industry by pharmaceutical companies taking those natural ingredients and copycatting them to become pharmaceutical drugs. And that's how we have medications like Lexapro and Prozac. Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? So every molecule in your body has emotion, has emotional memory. When you look at these smiley faces and not so smiley faces, you know what? You're able pretty much to be able to read to see what that emotion is. So we're brought up without any training, but we're brought up from that school of hard knocks to be able to, hopefully, if we're very socially aware, to be able to read body language to tell if somebody's upset or angry or come talk to me or stay away, right? So that's all part of how we deal with emotions from the perspective of social awareness. All right. How many emotions can you actually name? It's crazy, but did you know? Take a guess. How many emotions do you think there are? How many emotions have been identified, let's say in the English language? What do you think? Just say it out loud. How many emotions? It's a different story on how many emotions you can actually name. but there are over 34,000 emotions, or what we call little micro expressions, that can actually be created on your face. Yeah, no wonder the Botox industry is doing well. You can literally do 34 different little micro expressions, 34,000 little micro expressions on your face. Your human face is capable of sharing and expressing a lot of emotions. So, how many can you name? You know, when I do this activity in my events, I have found that it's surprising for people to realize, oh, that'll be easy. And then they get together, and about a minute or two goes by, and they're like, oh my gosh, I only have about 12 emotions. What do you mean 34,000? I can barely even get to 20. So really see how self-aware you are and how many emotions that you can even identify. Well, I'm going to give you the name of the 8 primary emotions. And here they are, thanks to Dr. Plutchik's work. Yeah, I know, Dr. Plutchik, that's one of those names that sounds like it belongs in a children's storybook, right? Well, Dr. Plutchik identified, he was from the Albert Einstein School of Medicine in New York City, and he identified and is very famous for his color wheel of emotions. And actually, if you go check it out, this color wheel becomes kind of an origami diamond because it has so many dimensions, just like your emotions. So check out the list. See which of these 8 primary emotions that you tend to be aware that you are feeling regularly. See, there are emotions that you don't even know you're feeling because you've learned to stuff them down because of whatever. And maybe it's because of feeling shameful or feeling out of control. So at some stages in your life, you just learn not to feel. And is that really a good thing? Well, we now know with the mind body connection, that isn't a good thing. It just isn't. You can shut your body down and become, frankly, more stressed out because your body or your spirit is not in conjunction. We've got to collaborate, that whole mind body, or there will be conflict. So be more mindful. Look at those 8 primary emotions and be honest about when you're feeling anger, or one of the dimensions of anger, irritation can be, or, simply mad or upset. And then take a look at, something like anticipation, worry, anxiety, surprise. Frankly, I was surprised that surprise was or considered to be one of the 8 primary emotions. I'm thinking, where's love? Yeah, love isn't on the list, is it? So, doing a little bit more research, come to find out, as you can see on this color wheel, love is not a primary emotion because love comes in so many varieties, right? The way you love pizza is not the way you love your kid. And the love you have for your kid is definitely not the way you love your job. And the way you love your job, if you love your job, is not the way you love your mate. You get the point, right? So love is not primary, it's a secondary emotion. It's a combination emotion. Here in this chart, love is really a combination of joy and trust. That is that deep, mature love. So as you consider and think about 8 primary emotions, think about some of the emotions that you wrote down or you thought about on the previous slide when I said, how many emotions can you name? Which of these categories would they go into? And they will all go into one of these categories. Something to think about, more likely something to feel about, right? Okay, so how about the concept? If you can feel emotions, and emotions are in every aspect of your body, did you know that the use of medicinal essential oils can have an effect on your emotions? And I love that there's more and more evidence coming forward. And frankly, think back to when I introduced myself working with the Pai Pai Indians that have been using medicinal plants for centuries, long before modern medicine came on the scene. Well, they were using plant medicine. They were extracting the oils from their plants, the plants that Mother Nature or God gave us. So I find it kind of interesting when people say, oh, essential oils is new to the field. of health and wellness, when in reality, modern medicine is what's new to the field of health. Well, I don't know about health because medicine, modern medicine, which has been very powerful, is more or less an intervention methodology, isn't it? When your body's in crisis, I don't know of too many medications that are preventative. They're more there to help once the event happens, right? And we know how important that can be. But what about prevention? And what about being in touch with your emotions and knowing that there are oils that literally by the smell of the oil, by placing the oil on your wrists, back of your neck, on your spine, on your feet that go right into your body and your nervous system. Did you know that your limbic system is where your emotions are housed? The limbic, that's in the brain where your emotions are housed before they go off with receptors and neuropeptides and all of that scientific information that we now know about. That those oils, when you smell is right there in the limbic system as well. And that's where your emotions are. So it makes sense that there's a connection. And I love these examples of some of these oil blends that literally have been combined to help you with those certain parallel feelings. Hey, I love this. Look, here's some examples how you can actually just diffuse an oil. You want to feel happy? Use a little wild orange, use some grapefruit and clove. And I would recommend also getting a book. There's a great one that I love by Dr. Josh Axe, and it is Essential Oils as Ancient Medicine with all kinds of suggestions how, if you want to parallel with any medications that you might be taking, or if you want to stay off the medications, then why not consider a more natural approach using Mother Nature's medicines? If you want to feel more confident, yeah, confident spearmint picks up the brain. Peppermint. Did you know that peppermint has been proven if you have to go in for a test, or you're going into a meeting, or you just have to go in somewhere where your brain has to be in charge, it has to be on top, it has to be able to recall, it has to have good memory clarity. Did you know that peppermint's been proven just by deeply inhaling it to trigger that aspect of your brain that will help you? Yeah, what if you want to feel more motivated or peaceful? Peaceful would be, look, frankincense, which is the king of all oils. It's such a great healing oil. I mean, after all, that oil has been around since the Bible. That's interesting. That was actually given as a gift, wasn't it, at Christ's birth? So there again, oils have been around for a long time and have been used for a long time. If you want to feel inspired, you can use a purify oil, juniper berry, lemon for if you want to feel more focused, along with peppermint. You can see all the combinations that are possible. I'm going to challenge you when you have those feelings to also be connected to things that can help you through those feelings. And actually, things, remember the three ingredients that will connect you with your physical, what you're telling yourself, and your behaviors all tied in. And these essential oils can be very beneficial in also helping you manage your feelings. So, in conclusion, 4 components of emotional intelligence, there they are. First, you have to be aware how you're feeling. Do you know what the feeling is? Can you identify the emotion? Is it one of the 8 primary emotions? And in the self-management, how do you manage? Oh my gosh, I'm feeling so stressed and I have anxiety. Okay, great. I'm going to go for that oil. Oh, I'm losing my focus. I'm going to go for my peppermint oil and I'm going to breathe that in. These are things that I've done. Or you need to feel more motivated. I'm going to go for my cheer oil, which is a combination of wild orange and some of the citrus. Breathing that in because of the effect. Remember, your smell connector in your brain is your limbic, which is also where your emotions are. So they work in tandem. And then your social awareness is really about how aware you are of watching others. The empathy that you want to develop for feeling for others and what they're going through and how they're feeling. and then putting it all together in your relationships, how you influence each other, how you can be a mentor and a coach when that is asked of you, how you can get through conflict, not avoid it, but to confront it in a professional way, to confront it in a honest way, which we call being assertive. And of course, there's the teamwork or the partner work. You know, you don't live on this planet by yourself. Every day you're interacting with people at various levels. And how inspirational. You don't even have to be the CEO, CFO, UFO, or whatever you want to call it, but we do and have that ability to inspire people. That's what I'm hoping that I can contribute, giving you some knowledge that will help you, and also giving you some knowledge that will help you to inspire not just yourself in learning something new or reminding you of something that maybe you forgot about, but sharing that information and being able to inspire others, because that is the best way to feel. If you're ever feeling down, serve somebody else, because by serving somebody else, that truly will lift your spirits so you can be happy. Maybe not all the time, but maybe most of the time. So that's it from Dawn. Consider emotional intelligence and also a partner in your essential oils. Go check it out. It's well worth learning about it. So with that, we'll see you next time. Again, it is Dawn Schween. Come check it out. Come see me for our next adventure into what are we going to learn next. See you later. Bye.